Hi guys, welcome to the Ruddy Duck, and thank you for coming in for our employee meeting to discuss our crisis management decisions. So the reason that we're here is we want to discuss the present situation of our E. coli crisis that we've just been through, and we want to discuss some research that we have done into crisis management, and we also want to inform you guys about the steps that we plan to take moving forward, so that we can get back on track and get back to making some money. We're going to talk about what you guys can do to help out in the future, and we're going to have a chance for you guys to ask any questions you may have at the end of the presentation. So where we stand, unfortunately we've had to let some staff go because of the decline in business. We no longer have need of our support staff, which is unfortunate. So we've also made cuts to our kitchen as well, because since we're not selling as much food, we couldn't afford to keep on as many workers in the kitchen. What we want to really hash on throughout this presentation is the E. coli was a result of some milk that we bought from our suppliers, and it is not a result of our mishandling, and that is really key to us getting back on track as a restaurant, because letting people know that we don't mishandle our food is definitely imperative. If people think that we were the ones that messed up and caused this problem, it's going to be really hard to move forward from here at all. And we also would like you all to know that 3 guests have been admitted into the hospital but have no serious long-term damage, but have had some serious food poisoning, vomiting, diarrhea, that sort of thing. So some of our research that we conducted, first off, we found out that the specific strain is E. coli 0157H7. So this is a potentially deadly strain of E. coli, which is obviously not good, but all of our guests that were affected got to the hospital quick enough to where it's not going to be anything serious. It's all been taken care of. But one thing that we did look into was this company, Just Salad, how they had a similar E. coli outbreak, but it was a result of lettuce from one of their suppliers. They moved on and got a new supplier and started taking to social media to talk about how it was a result of their suppliers and not their own mishandling, and it has resulted in they have completely bounced back and have gotten back on track as a business because people trust their ability to properly handle their food. So we also did some research into general brand loyalty. We looked into the American Marketing Association's tips for brand loyalty. What we've got out of that was personal stories go a long way towards brand recognition and brand loyalty. Personal stories could be from guests, staff, potentially our bands that come in. Just really anybody who has anything positive to say about the Ruddy Duck could go a long way for making people believe in our restaurant again. Furthermore, we decided it would probably be a good idea to look into Facebook and decide whether or not anything they've done to handle their latest crisis could be useful for us. The reason we did this is because it's a very highly publicized crisis that everybody knows about, and it's a very big company, so we thought maybe we could take examples from them. What we got out of that was that they mishandled theirs a lot and did not really do the things that they needed to do to get people back trusting them again. One of the things that they did, they were arguing semantics over the words leak and breach and what those meant, instead of just taking the blame for what they had done and accepting responsibility and moving forward. So we've actually learned that maybe we shouldn't do what they did, and we should just take responsibility for our actions and move forward from there. So our first recovery recommendation, we've obviously found a new milk supplier, Dean Foods, which I'm sure everybody's heard of Dean. They've got just milk in just about every grocery store around. We want to let the public know that we accept the responsibility and that we have a new supplier. We want to make that pretty evident. We want to let people know again that this problem did not occur in-house, but that it was a result of our supplier, and therefore with a new one obviously it wouldn't happen again. We've also decided that a social media campaign would be a good way to kind of get people's attention and bring them back in to the restaurant. So we've started posting different posts about our upcoming events and bands and things, and we've started this hashtag Restoring the Faith. So one of the things we want to do is, if customers repost or like this, we want to give them a half-off appetizer when they come in, so as to try to bring people back and obviously restore the faith. So our second recovery recommendation would be personal stories. As we all know, the Ruddy Duck used to be Cheapside, and Cheapside is a very well-known landmark of Lexington, and a lot of our guests that come into the Ruddy Duck like to tell us all about how Cheapside was one of their favorite places to hang out and go eat and listen to music. So it'd just be great to hear a guest's perspective on what the Ruddy Duck and what Cheapside establishment means to them and why it's important to them, and just kind of use their story to kind of encourage other guests to come in and remind them why they liked us so much in the first place. And then also, it'd be a good idea to get some stories from the staff. We all know our bar manager, Hollywood, loves to talk about how when he got out of the Navy in 1992, this was his first bar back gig, and he went and did his own thing there for about 10-15 years, and he came back and now he's bar manager. So that's kind of like an inspiring story that would be good to get out to the public, remind them how long we've been here, the history we have. And a third one would be the bands that we have. We have the popular Paul Childers band that comes from Nashville that has a loyal following that always comes by, and they kill it every time they come in. And if we could have them, you know, maybe give a statement as to why they choose the Ruddy Duck over every other band or every other venue in Lexington to bring their music to the people, that would just be excellent in terms of making people want to come back in. And our third recovery recommendation would obviously be to just switch up the menu. Anything with milk is probably not a good idea. So we're kind of trying to stay away from that. You know, things, eggs, the hot brown, any kind of homemade cheese, probably not the greatest idea, at least for the time being, because people just don't trust it. So we've decided that we're going to kind of focus more on our bar food menu options. So we're going to add 3 new flavors of wings on top of our 3 existing flavors. So we're going to have spicy teriyaki, Caribbean jerk, and spicy curry. We also want to add a club sandwich and a buffalo chicken sandwich. Again, just easy bar food. People like it. It's a staple of a lot of people's diets or sandwiches and things, so that'd be good. And then we also are going to update our service staff's knowledge through a meeting with our head chef Julio, so that we can so that servers have more knowledge about where our ingredients come from, so that they can make our food seem more enticing to guests that come in. You know, really talk it up, talk about any local beef or produce that we have, really make it sound good. So what can you guys do? So the first one is obviously keep up all the hard work that you've been doing. It's really appreciated, and the dedication that you guys have shown sticking with us through this hard time that we're going through. On top of that, you could talk to all your friends and family about how we're going to have our grand reopening and try to get them to come in. The more the merrier, you know. The more people we get in at the beginning, the better off it'll be going forward. We also have a mandatory employee meeting. That's going to be on June 5th, and that's going to be with our head chef, Julio. That's what I was talking about. We're going to talk about the new menu options, and we're really going to kind of get to know our ingredients and where they come from, so that our servers can be more knowledgeable and just generally more informed about what they're serving to the people. And the most important thing is to be positive and courteous to all your guests. The good attitudes, good vibes, definitely people feed off that, so just be all smiles when people come in, and really try to remind them why they like Cheapside and the Ruddy Duck so much. So now it's time for any questions that you all may have, so if you guys have any questions.
So what do you do, and what do the servers do when you're addressed about the E. coli problem by customers there?
Right, so if we're asked about the E. coli situation, again, really important that we hash on the fact that it was a result of our distributors and not on our hands. So definitely inform them that we've got a new distributor, Dean Foods, and that we have moved away from things that have milk in them in the first place, and really kind of talk up the new menu items as well.
What happens if you can't come to the meeting?
Okay, so if you can't come to the meeting with Julio tomorrow, I just need you to speak with me after the meeting and you and Julio and I will discuss a time that we can all get together and meet up, because it is imperative that we do meet up with the head chef, everybody meet up with him, because if we're not all on board with this new menu and understanding the ingredients and how to sell them, it's really not going to work for moving forward.
How many times a week can a customer or a person at the restaurant redeem the discount for #Restoring the Faith? Is it only on one social media site, or is it across the board on social media via Twitter, Instagram, etc.?
That's a good question. So realistically, it's going to be kind of hard to really keep people from just coming back in and reusing it. I mean, we have a Facebook and a Twitter that we're going to be using for this Restoring the Faith hashtag. So I mean, if you see someone come in many times in a week and try to use it every single time and you notice it, obviously grab myself or another manager and we'll talk to them. You know, we don't want people abusing it, but again, it's not like we're going to be keeping a log of everybody that comes in. But then again, it's not the worst thing in the world for them to be doing that, because honestly, if they come in and they do it more than once a week, even though we're getting a half-off appetizer, they're probably going to buy more food. You know, they're probably going to bring friends. They're probably going to buy more drinks. So really just try to keep it down to no more than one per table per visit, and I mean, we should be good. Any more questions? All right, well, thank you all for coming to the meeting today. I really hope that we can turn these things around. I believe we can. It's going to take all of us, and yeah, so everybody just come to that meeting tomorrow with Julio, and again, if you can't come, just talk to me after this. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.